before we come back to questions for the coach. Chris, good to have you here. How you doing? Good to see you. Hi, Chris. Coach. Give us 1 second. We're going to get name cards to your positions here. George is going to bring those up. Just waiting on you, Mr. Steering.
Sorry, I'll go wait in the hall.
Okay. Everybody welcome, and welcome to North Dakota State. Congratulations on returning back to Frisco. We have Chris Klieman, the head coach of the Bison, along with student athletes Robbie Grimsley, Greg Menard, and Easton Stick. We'll have an opening statement from Coach Klieman, followed by questions for the student athletes. We'll dismiss them and get to questions for Coach Klieman after that. So, Coach Klieman, go ahead.
Well, good afternoon. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. We're excited to be back in Frisco again for the 2018 season. We talked early in the season about some of our goals of simple things, of winning every day and attacking every opportunity. And one of the goals we had was to win the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. And if we were able to do that, it would set ourselves up for potentially a good run in the playoffs if we could get some home games. And this group of seniors, we have 24 seniors that have really raised the bar, dominated the standard on a daily basis, and held each other accountable. We haven't had any bad practices. We've been fortunate. We haven't played poor football games, and it's a credit to these guys and the other 21 seniors that they challenge each other. And they challenge us coaches every day, and that's a special thing that this group has had, and it's what makes this season such a special ride. And so we're thrilled to be back here. We're glad the sun is shining. We're going to get a quick walkthrough outside today on the fields, and then lock into the final details of our meetings tonight, and be ready to tee it up tomorrow morning against an exceptional Eastern Washington team that we have a ton of respect for their program and how they play the game. So we're excited to be here, and we'll open up for questions.
All right, Coach, appreciate it. We have a couple of microphones going around. ASAP Transcription Service is listening in, so please be sure to identify yourself and the student athlete that you'd like the question to be directed to, please. We'll start right here with Dom.
Dom Izzo, WDAY. Easton, have you made a decision on the Walter Payton ceremony for tonight?
Yeah, obviously incredibly honored to be a finalist for that award, and understand that that's an awesome opportunity for our team and great recognition for our team. But my focus is the team, and none of that stuff would be possible without the guys in that locker room. And so it's just a bad timing, and I'm not going to be able to make it tonight. It's a later ceremony, and with the 11 a.m. kickoff, my focus needs to be on this group right here, and I appreciate having their support and all that.
Thank you. We've got George with the mic over here and Zach with the mic this way. Who's next? Far back there.
Ross Uglum, Bison Report. Greg, can you talk a little bit about how having been here as many times as you've been here is maybe not an advantage, but something just that you guys get into a routine and understand what Thursday's like, what Friday's like, and then obviously what you have in store for you tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it is an advantage, definitely, being able to have the routine and know where we got to go as a group. And I think just everything that you don't really think about until you come here, we've thought about it because we've been here before. So it really does help us out, just smoothens out the schedule and makes us ready to go.
Next question. Shy group this morning, or this afternoon.
Jeff Kopak, Fargo Forum. Easton, the practice today, what do you look forward to it? I know like the quarterbacks from past like to take a photo.
Yeah, this is an awesome tradition that we've been able to develop and take part in. It's definitely one of the top memories that I think I've had and these guys have had coming down here and seeing 200, 300 former Bison football players and just getting a chance to talk and tell stories and hear about their experiences. And we talk all the time about how awesome the former players have been to us and our program. And, they've laid the foundation for what's happening right now. And so we're thankful for them, and we'll enjoy some time together.
In front.
Brian Sean. Greg, Robbie, Easton for interview guys, but Greg, I'll just kind of ask you first. Is it going to be strange knowing this is the last walkthrough? This is the last practice, I guess, for you guys as Bison?
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. It's kind of funny. Last year, I started saying, "Oh, this is my last time doing patterns with Coach Kramer and a bunch of stuff," and I ended up that wasn't the last time. So usually I try to stay away from stuff like that, but I do know now this is my last game, and this is our last walkthrough no matter what happens. So it really is kind of a bittersweet feeling, and you don't really know how you're going to feel until you kind of get out there on that field, and I'm just really excited to experience that.
Riley Gates from GoPowerCat.com and 24/7 Sports. Easton, how much has Coach done for you specifically, for this program as a whole, in terms of getting this program to the point where it's obviously a consistent basis of you guys being here, but not taking it for granted, not knowing you're just going to come in here and roll over whoever is on the other sideline from you guys?
Yeah, well, this program has been successful for a really long time, for decades, and it'll continue to be that way just because of the type of people involved and the community support that we get. It's really second to none. But I think Coach has come in and taken the program and help advance it to a new level. And I think that's the goal of whoever is leading the program. And I think he's done an unbelievable job as far as challenging us as 18-year-old kids when we sign on the line, and all the way up to now as a fifth-year senior, challenging us as football players, but I think more importantly, challenging us as men. And we see how he lives his life every day, and the type of people that he associates himself with, how he is around his family. And so we've got great role models to look up to and strive to be like, and Coach is definitely one of them. So we're thankful for everything that he's done. And but at the end of the day, and he'll say it too, it's our program. It's not an individual's program, and so this place is special, and it'll continue to be that way.
Jeff Kopak again. Easton, speaking of alumni quarterbacks, did you hear from Carson this week?
Yeah, I talked with Carson a little bit earlier today. Obviously, they got a lot going on. I think they're flying out to Chicago here probably within the next day or so for a big playoff game. But he's been obviously a really good friend to me, since I stepped on campus here, and has played a big role in our program's success and my success. And so he's continued to be a really good friend.
Far side.
Yeah, Matt Hall, K-StateOnline, Rivals.com. Robbie, this is for you. Your coach has told us in Kansas so many times how much it mattered to him to stay back with all the seniors who've been here with him for so long. How important was that to you guys, and just how meaningful is it that he's done that with you?
It's huge. I think that's what everyone on our team wanted. I mean, we all kind of came together and we thought that was best for the team. And everyone, I mean, everyone wants to play for all the coaches that are heading out there. I mean, we love these guys and we know they love us and they've given their heart and soul for the program, and that's what we do for them. And I don't think anyone would have it any other way.
Greg, as the opportunity to play against a Tarrant Christian, opportunity even to play against Easton in practice or whoever happens to be the scout QB, those type of kids with mobility prepared you to deal with Barrier?
Yeah, definitely. I think we've been kind of fortunate in this playoff run. We've played a lot of mobile quarterbacks that have kind of given us a look, and I think that Eric's a really good player, and he does a lot of things running the ball that are a little bit different than the teams we've played in the past. But he can also throw the ball, as we saw last game against Maine. So we got to make sure we're on point.
Kellis Robinette here with the Wichita Eagle. I got a question for all three players. I know it's not easy or can't be easy to hear that your coach is leaving for a different job, but when he did break that news to you guys, how did you take it, and what was your reaction to hearing he was going to be coaching both places?
Easton, you could start, please.
Well, I think the first thing is he was incredibly transparent and honest about the whole thing. And so when I think the initial rumors started that everyone saw, probably a week or maybe even two before he got the job, he addressed it in front of the whole team and said what he needed to say and was honest with us and continued that throughout the process. And so honestly, when we learned he was going to receive that opportunity, genuine excitement, honestly, and we were happy for him, excited for him, because it's an opportunity that we think he deserves and has absolutely earned. And so, we were disappointed to see him leave because we love him, but at the same time, we were excited for him and know he's going to do great things.
Greg?
Yeah, I think kind of like Easton said, the first reaction was, oh man, this kind of sucks. We're losing our coach. But I think it's a little bit easier as a senior knowing that I don't have to really deal with the transition selfishly. But I think, like Easton said, the transparency the whole way through from Coach Klieman and Matt Larson, I mean, all those young guys were really reassured that we're going to keep the program going the right direction. So that really helped out those guys a lot. And I think kind of after it all settled down, after the first couple minutes, the shock factor, I mean, everyone was really happy for him. I mean, that doesn't happen very often, going from a FCS school to a Power 5 school. So everyone was really happy for Coach.
Robbie?
Yeah, I think a big thing too for the younger guys was it just. I mean, obviously there's uncertainty when you're younger guys and you're going to remain in the program, but I mean, just having Coach Entz stay and be hired as the head coach was huge, and they were all excited for him. Obviously, we were excited for Coach Entz. We knew he's the right guy for the job, and I think everyone's just kind of feeling good about that, and they're happy for all the coaches, just like they said. I mean, they feel for him, and they know how great of an opportunity it was to get that, and they think that it was right.
Back up front to Dom.
Easton, I wanted to ask you about Eastern Washington. That it's NDSU and Eastern Washington almost for the last decade that's been the two top teams in FCS. You guys have paid attention to them at all outside of game week? Do you guys notice at all what they've been doing?
I think the biggest thing is we just recognize that that's a really good program, and like you said, have been one of the top programs in our division for a long time before we were part of this program. And so obviously they've got a really good culture similar to us, and just the fact that they've gone through transition and continue to be successful and win football games, and they play really hard. You can see that they've got good schemes, and so I think the biggest thing is we just have a ton of respect for their program and what they've accomplished.
A few more minutes with student athletes back.
Ross Uggam, 247 Sports. Easton, you guys played Eastern Washington while you were the quarterback in 2017, scored 40 points at their place. How much can you take from that game, and at the same time, how much is that thrown out the window because it is 2018 now, obviously?
Yeah, it was a really long time ago. It was one of the second, I think, game of the 2017 season, and so it feels like it's been a decade since we played that one. Personnel, there's some differences, obviously, on both sides of the ball. Schematically, I think, again, on both sides of the ball, there's some similarities, but it's definitely a different team. I think they're better on defense than they were a year ago. They're more physical and have more experience, I think, especially at the corner position. They've got three really good players, rotate a bunch of guys. at the defensive line at all spots, and so the depth I think is really good. And they've got good schemes and do a good job of fooling people. And so we're gonna have to play hard and execute, and hopefully that gives us a good chance.
Right here, second row in the middle.
Mike Rose with Vite Media, KMAX Sports, Austin, Texas. Just wondering from student athletes, Robbie, you speak of the team, which is awesome, and you've been here before, but how do you prepare your teammates, those freshmen, sophomores that maybe haven't had a chance to show up and play as much as you have in the last few years here in Frisco and going through the playoffs?
I think just kind of looking back to when I was a freshman, just don't let it overwhelm you. Just try to focus on the game itself and not as much as the outside circumstances, because if you do that, I think you'll be able to lock in a little better. And obviously, it's a big deal. It's a national championship game, but I think you just got to focus on the game itself and Eastern Washington as your opponent, as you would normally, and that really helps you lock in and focus.
KVRR out of Fargo. Question for Greg. I know you guys don't take it for granted being in the national championship game, but for you personally, does it feel like a long time coming since it's been 3 years since you were on this stage?
Yeah, definitely. But I was here last year with all the guys, and so, it was great to watch them go out there and beat JMU and get the revenge, but this year is a completely new year, and so it's just kind of, I guess, what we expect here, and we've come out and done it 1 week at a time, and it's been a really fun experience. We want to cap it off right.
Matt Hall, K-StateOnline. Easton, I know he's sitting right by you, but is Coach Klieman any different in weeks like this than he is the first week of the season, second week of the season, or does he become a different guy in a setting like this?
No, he's a cool customer. Not much changes, and that's what I think guys appreciate about him is he just goes about his business and sets the tone for our program, and that's something we talk about all the time is don't worry about outside noise, distractions, circumstances. Focus on what you can do to get better, what you can do to help your teammates get better. And he sets that example for us, and it doesn't change. Day one of fall camp back in July or August to now, he's the same guy and leads the same way.
Do one more for the student athletes. Back in the middle.
Kalish Abnett with the Wichita Eagle. Easton, your offense is obviously run heavy, but you still throw it enough to keep teams off balance. What do you think is the key to the way you guys do that, that even though you lean one way, the defense still is always kind of guessing?
Yeah, obviously we pride ourselves on being able to run the football, and I think it starts with getting the guys that fit the system. And there's some really tough kids and blue-collar, hard-working kids in our area, and I think it starts up front with those guys. Shoot, we got 2 offensive linemen starting tomorrow in a national championship game that come from small town North Dakota, played 9-man high school football, and just know how to work hard and compete. And so it starts with those guys, but I think on top of it, the coaches do a really good job of finding ways to run the football. It's not always going to look the same. It might look the same, I guess, maybe to the naked eye or to the fan, but there's a lot of different things that we try to do in the run game and be diverse and how we're doing things, and I think that's huge. But it just starts with getting the right people, and we've got really good guys up front, and then get people to buy in as receivers and stuff that block their tail off on the perimeter and just kind of do their job. So it's a fun thing to be a part of.
All right. Men, thank you very much. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, questions for head coach Chris Klieman. In front. Go ahead, Zach.
Ryan Gellner, Valley News Live. Chris, those 3 seniors are a pretty good representation of what you've got in your locker room. Not just because it's your last time, but because that's your group, the group you came in with. Pretty special?
Yeah, a lump in my throat just listening to them because I love those guys and they love each other, and that's what this is all about is impacting lives and making a difference in people's lives. And they've made a huge impact on my life and on my families, and obviously they're doing that in the locker room as well, and that's what's pretty cool. That's where I know the culture is going to stay the same because the juniors see it, the sophomores see it, the freshmen see it, and that's Bison pride and that's Bison football.
Dom Izzo, WDAY. Chris, did you have any input to Easton's decision on the Peyton tonight? What did you tell him about tonight?
Well, he and I talked about it at length on a number of occasions, and it all comes back to the same thing. Easton did not come here to win individual awards. Easton came here to win championships. And that's the conversation that he and I had. And I will support him in anything he does. And he said, Coach, I would rather stay and continue my preparation because it's about the guys in the locker room, and I never did come here to win individual awards. If I do, it'd be great for our university, but my focus is on our football team. And bottom line, you guys all know it. That's Easton Stick. You guys wouldn't have thought anything else.
You'd be disappointed if he doesn't win tonight?
It's popular. I don't know what's going to happen. I think he should win, but you guys know how I feel. I think he's the best player in college football. So.
Matt Hall, K-StateOnline. Coach, I understand the irony of me asking a question about distractions with K-State, but has it been easier than you thought it would be balancing both, or how has it gone now that we're really one day from the end of it?
It's been very manageable because of the tremendous administrative support from Dean Brashani and Matt Larson here at North Dakota State, and the great support from Gene Taylor at Kansas State. It's been better than anybody probably expected. But once again, credit the guys up front, credit the other coaches that are in our locker room. We're a close-knit family at NDSU, and it wasn't going to happen any other way.
Coach John Kurtz with KMAN. Now that it's here, it is different, I imagine, than other times you've been here. How much different does it feel?
It doesn't feel any different right now, to be honest with you, simply because my total focus has been on preparing for Eastern Washington, and no different than last year or 3 years before that, or however many years we've been here. You always, at this time, start thinking about this time you have left with the seniors. And that's really my thought right now is, boy, I'm only going to be around these three guys and the other 21 seniors for another 24 hours or so. And that hits you more than anything. Whether it's my last game here or not, to me is irrelevant. It's just the time that you have with these seniors, because I was in every one of these kids' homes 4 or 5 years ago, and that's why I'm so pleased with the support that I've had. Is we're going to finish this journey. We're going to finish this story together.
Ross Uglum, Bison Report. Chris, congratulations on getting down here again. Is this a game that you've gone into? There have been not necessarily games in the past where you protected Easton, but the Easton runs specifically are something that you don't want to get your star quarterback hurt. Well, now there's just 60 minutes left. Is that something we might see where the entire playbook is open?
Did you see the South Dakota State game? Okay. Enough said. Entire playbook wide open. He's going to cut it loose.
Mike Rose with KMAX Sports, Austin, Texas. Just wondering, transition is all over the place, obviously. You were in this position with Coach Entz coming forward. Have you had a chance to talk with him, prepare him for?
Every day, Coach Entz and I. He's one of my best friends, love him, and so happy for him and his family. Every day, he and I have a conversation about this game, about transition, whatever it may be. I will help him for years and years to come, just like he's going to help me for years and years to come, because it's been a partnership with Matt and I for 5 years. Matt was one of the first coaches I hired here. He's been a confidant of mine, and that'll stay the same for decades.
Go ahead.
Beth Wool, Valley News Live. Coach, you have that alumni moment today, expecting a lot of great former players, but expecting some legendary coaches as well from the Bison staff. What's that mean to you to have some of those guys there as well?
Yeah, I don't know who's all coming, Beth. I know that every year that there's maybe 50 more guys than we thought, and Easton said it. It's the most special time of this whole weekend, other than the game, is to see all those guys come back that played in the 60s up till last year, because they're why we do this. We always talk about playing for your brother next to you and playing for the guy that put the jersey on decades and decades ago. And it's an experience that is unlike any other. I think guys like these appreciate the experience more and more. When you're a true freshman, you're just kind of wandering around and listening to stories and seeing guys crying their eyes out that played in 1965, and you're thinking, what are they doing? And then all of a sudden, as you continue to progress year after year, you realize, wow, Bison football is a big, big deal. And once a Bison, always a Bison to those guys and to these guys here. Special, special time we're going to have here shortly.
Keith Albertson, KVRR in Fargo. Coach, at what time tomorrow are you no longer the head coach for the Bison? Is it when the clock hits zeros, when you say bye to the team?
No, I hope Lars is going to give me a ride home on the plane, so because my family and I need a way home. It'll be at the end of the full day.
Brian, Sean, Chris, I remember you saying a couple of weeks ago that you poured everything you had into this program for the last 8 years. When you came to Fargo, I know you looked at it as an opportunity for professional growth. What's the biggest lesson or lessons you will take away from your 8 years in Fargo with you along in your professional journey?
Yeah, I don't probably have enough time to talk about all those things, Brian. Just been so blessed to, I took a chance here 8 years ago. Didn't know much about Fargo at all, and my family and I came up here for a ride that is probably never going to be duplicated in college football again. And I hope it stays going here. But we talk about that. Matt Larson and I talk about that every year. This is really, really hard to do. It's so hard to get to this point, and I will never take a day I've had here for granted. It's been remarkable. The student athletes that I've been around that have meant so much. Easton and I are at Carson Wentz's wedding in July, talking about the times 4 years ago and 3 years ago. Those are the things you remember forever. And the wins are great. The championships are dynamite, but the relationships are what I will always remember and cherish.
Jeff Kopak with Fargo Forum. I've asked this before, I feel like every year, but playing on grass for the first time, looking back, is there an adjustment for you guys?
Not really. We would have liked to have gotten on grass yesterday, but it was too wet. We're on grass so much now in fall camp, and I don't think it's that big a deal. It's really short, tight grass, and the other thing that helps us is we've been here before, and many of these guys have played on the surface, and we'll get out there in pregame warm-ups and run around, and we'll be ready for the surface.
Coach Klieman, Brenna Green, Krem, and Spokane, right here.
Oh.
Yep, there you go. This Eastern team has just been ravaged by injuries this year, and yet they've still gotten to this point. What do you think it says about this squad that they're still producing at this high of a level?
Well, when adversity strikes, they've been able to attack the adversity, and it's a credit to Coach Best. It's a credit to a bunch of seniors, and they have a lot of seniors as well, and that you're just not going to be denied, because if you have a guy injured, you lose that person, the next person better step up, especially for those seniors, because it's their last go-round. And we were fortunate to get Greg back after he tore his knee going into his first senior year. And you don't bat an eye. You just kind of keep moving forward, and we were able to be successful last year. Now he gets another opportunity, and it just goes to show you probably the leadership and the culture in that locker room is really strong.
Ross Uglum, Bison Report. Chris, Kansas State Athletics released a video today with some players and such wishing you guys the best of luck today. It really seems like NDSU's hoping you do well in your next venture, and Kansas State is kind of on the Bison train. Does the fact that everybody seems to be getting along make this process a lot easier, and are you excited to have Bison fans follow your journey?
100%. 100%. And that's a credit to the administration at Kansas State and the people that I know I'm going to work for there. Are phenomenal people, just like it's a credit to the people here that I think, Matt Larson and I we're colleagues, but we're really, really good friends. And I'm so excited to continue my relationship with Matt, because he wants me to have tremendous success moving forward, and I want him to have tremendous success. And I think when you have people that and you treat people well, and you treat people well, and you have good relationships, I don't know how you'd want anything else other than to watch that person have great success. Just like I'm going to follow NDSU, I'm going to stay in contact with Coach Ince, I'll stay in contact with Matt, and look forward to continuing the relationship.
And this song will be on your playlist forever, I'm sure. We already have the
rehearsal. Hey, we're rolling. We're ready to go now.
So then my next question is, you have a game with Kansas State and NDSU scheduled coming up?
Kenny, what do you think of that? I don't know if Gene will probably put that one on the schedule right now, but we'll see what happens down the road. Let's attack tomorrow right now, Dom, okay?
I want to ask you about the last 3 years, spending that with your son side by side. What has that meant for both of you?
It's been better than I ever anticipated, seeing him out there at practice every day, seeing how much Devin has grown to helping Nate, holding chains, to doing whatever, moving helping Joe Klanderman, throwing balls and stuff, to running our scout team this year, watching him grow and develop, and as well as, I know this, I have an unbelievable supporting cast of 24 seniors that have taken Devin under their wing, and I know he's surrounded by unbelievable role models on a daily basis, and forever grateful to have him by my side for 3 years.
Just time for a few more in the back.
Kel Shrubnet with the Wichita Eagle in the back here.
Mhm.
Coach, you guys have a winning tradition and culture here. They have a winning tradition and culture at Kansas State. Is there a delicate dance to merging the two, do you envision?
Just hard work, dedication, hard work, guys buying in, all the things that have happened here. Success is very difficult, and you have to do a great job of motivating guys, a great job of caring for people, and letting them know that you're going to be there for them. And it's happened here, and I know it can happen at Kansas State.
Lee Timmerman, KFYR TV, Bismarck. I know, Chris, you've talked a lot about the seniors in this group, and as they take their next step into their professional life, do you feel a little bit more senior-ish today since you were doing the same exact thing that this group is doing?
Yeah, no question. I talked to them about what their plans are in the next week. A lot of them have graduated, which I think is really cool that most of them have been done in either 4 or 4.5 years. And Stanley Jones, talking to him on the bus going over to the Miracle League, he's starting a job in Texas in another month. And yeah, everybody's making that next step and that next journey. And there's a little bit of the fact that I am a senior with these guys, you bet.
Far back by the equipment there.
Chase Miller with 790 KFGL. Chris, what makes Frisco such a special place is, they got an upgrade here, and all of a sudden they get an extension. What has made this such a unique experience for yourself?
Hospitality, a great venue, a place for the Fargo Crazies to come down and party for 4 or 5 days doesn't hurt. The fact that we'll have a sea of green and gold out there tomorrow, it's been a special, special place that I think it'll be pretty cranked up here tomorrow.
Who wants to have the last pregame question for Coach Klieman in his time with Bison? All right.
Perfect. Beth. Okay.
He likes me. Beth Hool, Valley News Live. Coach, how thankful are you to have this game ahead of you, to be able to turn the focus on a game, and put all of this and all these questions and stop the conversation?
Yeah, I'm ready. Block out the outside noise. I've had to do that a lot myself. But we've had really good preparation, exceptional over the last week. We had some bad weather in Fargo on Thursday and Friday, but we've really had a good last couple of weeks of preparation leading into when we came down here. The guys are locked in. We know we're going to have a battle. Eastern Washington's a terrific football team, but our guys are fresh. They're focused. They're ready to play. And now it's just going to come down to which team can execute the best. Thanks, everybody.
Coach,
We'll
thank
see
you.
you.